Welcome back to Angels and Bob's Factorio, and I've just shut off the iron, unfortunately. We need steel. We need steel because we're running out of iron. I know that sounds weird, but it'll make sense in a minute. So I've just changed this over to output priority left, and it just shifts everything over to the left, which goes into our steel manufactory. That's going to head off down the belt, but I'll go and show you why we have got a problem with the iron and steel production in general. Down here, as you can see, is our miners. Now, we've got mining productivity 3, so they are very good at extracting stuff already. And in fact, I guess we can look at, well, we can get mining productivity 4, but that costs 400 science packs 3s. Okay, so yeah, we can continue to get those. 5 is out of reach though, because we need production science packs, which we don't have yet. I do want to get into modules fairly soon as well. And in fact, speed module, productivity module is the one I want. That needs productivity circuit boards, which means I need an entirely different type of lab to do that. But before we get there, we need to look at, oh, this sad state of affairs. We're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 miners, and underneath those is not a great deal, not a lot left. So what we're going to do is go and create an outpost, and to do that we're going to need steel. Steel was being starved because we don't have enough of this ore. Now, we could just find another source of this ore and we could belt it down, but we do now have more technology, so we can build an outpost that will let us create pure iron ore. We're certainly not short on copper ore for quite some time yet. We do still have some iron ore, remember, because we do have this patch down here of, what's it called, Steratite? Steratite? Yeah, Steratite. Okay, so yeah, we do still have a 2-to-1 ratio from 2 copper to 1 iron from these. However, the main source of our iron is coming from this plant. So if we want more iron ore to feed to these, we're going to have to build an outpost. That's okay, something that's planned. As you can see, steel is on the way across over there. Well, if you can see it on YouTube, I'll zoom in a second when it comes past. So we're going to need to make rail. We're going to need to make some locomotives. I'm going to need to decide where our station goes. Our first station, but probably not our last, knowing this particular set of mods. So I'm just going to gather up a lot of steel plate. There's going to be quite a bit coming through, but obviously it's not hugely fast yet. We need to look at a few things. So I think I've made a couple of train stops already. Let's have a look at the train stops. Do I have a couple? Yeah, I've got a couple of train stops. That's what we need. We're also going to need the trains themselves, called locomotives. So I can make 1. And we're out of steel again. You're going to want 2 at least, because we're going to make a double-ended train, a double-ender, to start off with. And that all that essentially is just a train going one way and a train going the other at the end of the, series of cars. And then there's some cargo cars, if you like, in between them. I normally try to go for 1 for 1, i.e. 1 locomotive at one end, 4 cargo cabs, or what do you want to call them? Locomotives. What do we actually call those things? Train? Train? No? What are they called? Okay, cargo wagons. We'll go with cargo wagons. Okay, so I'm going to make another locomotive, a cargo wagon. I'm going to carry it, get and grab more steel. I want to call them something else other than wagons. That doesn't seem right somehow. But then I'm English, so that is one thing. Let's just grab more steel. And we can make a couple more. We're also going to need rail. Now, rail's a little bit weird. We're going to need both iron and steel and wood and crushed stone, I want to say. Problem with crushed stone is that it is, well... And there goes our robots. They're going to try and refill me with iron. Yep, there we go. Crushed stone, we don't really keep, or we're not keeping at the moment, but we can use a crusher to convert regular stone back into crushed stone. Now, I just wonder what happens if we feed in stone brick. Where's that crusher gone that I had? There it is. Let's just put it here for a second and just feed in some stone brick. Does it do anything? No. It's not a smelter. It's a crusher. Okay, that's fine. So we'll have to use regular stone, which I don't think we have over here. The one thing we do need that is over here is iron sticks, which are right here. So they're available in the network. We don't have to worry about those. We've also got iron plate there in the network. So if we had steel and wood, we'd be able to make the rail track. So if we have a look at the straight rail, we can do bridges, but also we can make this. So yeah, 2 straight rail for 1 steel plate. That's a sort of horrible, horrible rate. But for now, I think we'll just do this with maybe with bots. That might be an idea, assuming that I get enough steel plate. So for now, we're not going to get any more bots out of this. So let's just grab all the steel plate from this, and that'll get put into our. It will when it gets power. It'll put it into our box. So the system knows about steel plate. So these bots are probably going to go, hey, you requested some steel plates. I'm going to supply you, with 200, and you have 15. Yeah. So steel plate, iron sticks, iron ore. We just need wood. And unfortunately, I don't have the network extending all the way out to where the wood is. So I'm going to feed that in manually. We've got plenty of wood. I just need a machine somewhere to make rail. Doesn't much matter where. And to be honest, we could share this. Yeah, let's share that actually. I don't think we need to go anywhere else. So let's just put this in place. We want our assembly machine. We want a inserter. And we want to choose this recipe. So let's say rail. And then we're going to want to probably put it in another box. Do I have any spare boxes? I want a couple of passive provider chests. We're going to need them anyway, so let's just make sure we have one. And again, another inserter. So it's got iron sticks. It just needs steel plate, wood, and crushed stone. So if I get a regular box and just put that in here, I can just fill that up with some wood. And then we've got crushed stone to go and steel plate. So if I have, let's just actually request this. I think it may be in range of the network. And if it is, that would be really good. So if we set in here, I want crushed stone. Like that. Right now, it can't get any of it, but because we don't have any crushed stone in our network, that's perfectly fine. And we need steel plate, so we need to also request the steel plate from somewhere else, but that is also fine. So steel plate. There we are. Yep. So we're requesting steel plate. We're requesting crushed stone. You can put them both in the same chest. You don't have to put them in different chests. I'm just illustrating the point. Iron sticks, and then wood we're going to pull in, manually. So we just need to set up crushed stone, and it needs to be set up in range of the rest of these logistics bots. So somewhere, where do we have range? We don't have much apart from up here somewhere. Okay, and our our regular stone is over here. So we may have to temporarily bus it over, but that won't be, that's not going to be permanent. I just want to make sure we can do this. So let's just, for a moment, we're going to need space. We can span a space of 4. And we can go you to, let's just actually take you off. Go this way. Am I out? I am. There we go. Send it this way. We just want this planted range of the rest of our network. Again, just to illustrate a point. No particular need to do it this way. So if we take these, for example, we turn them around, and then I tell them to drop off on this other belt. And the same thing with this. And with this. There we go. So we'll get half a belt of regular stone. That's going the wrong way. That's why it didn't replace those. I was wondering why the belt didn't get removed. Let's just get that going the right way. There we go. Okay. So over here somewhere, are we in our belt range? Where is it? there. So it has to be somewhere here, which is fine. I'm just going to get this belt over a little bit further. This'll do, I think. Are we in range again? Yeah, we are. Good. So let's just make some crushed stone. Where's that crusher gone? There it is. Let's just do this, and we want a passive provider, an inserter, and some power. That's not power. That's been put into the wrong space. Let me just actually dedicate this to the small power poles, just because the large ones I need lots of steel for, and I don't for the small ones. So it's not because I don't want to use. It's not because I want to use these. It's because I don't want to spend the steel. Okay. There goes my goof for the day. All right, so we got crushed stone. As you can see, the robots are grabbing it, and they're going to take it to this other factory. So we don't have to do all that much with belts for this particular build. We can get these to do the heavy lifting for us. And in fact, if our network spanned all the way to the other side of the base where the wood is, we could easily get the bots to go and fetch that as well. You can see they're going fetching the steel. These bots, they look slow right now. They look nowhere near as good as belts. They get much, much faster. So don't worry. However, this should be enough now to make rail. Okay, so we got 2 pieces of rail. We're going to need quite a bit more. So let me just get more of those wagons on the build. I think I just needed 1 more, did I? Yeah, 1 more for a single train. We're not going to go into multi-train networks just yet, but that will be later in the series. Multi-trains are amazing once they get set up, but until they do, they're not always needed at the start of the game. Alright, so we've got steel coming into our factory. We don't have much iron, but because we've got so much of it backed up, it's not going to have an effect for a few more minutes. The other thing you want to watch out for as well with your bots is when they go really slowly, they're out of power, and they'll struggle their way over to get charged, just like it's happening over here. So that's an indicator you need to perhaps put some more roboports in somewhere for them to charge, essentially. All right, now I'm going to go and jump forward to when we've got more rail, and then we're going to set up a couple of train stops. One near our smelters, and the other one up near the ores. Okay, so I've placed some rail, not very much of it. Our factory is making more, but just in case you don't know how to configure trains and stuff like that, a lot of people are afraid of them, or afraid of using them. They're definitely afraid of them once they're running. That's another topic. But you can get started really, really easily with trains. So for a start off, when you put them on either side of the track, you can see where the train is going to stop. So if we're heading down, we want the stop on the left-hand side. If we were heading up, we want it on the right-hand side. As you can see, these boxes, these white boxes with yellow arrows, show you where the train itself will stop. So if I wanted to stop all the way up here, I made a train track heading downwards, then I could put it on the right-hand side. But as we're coming the other direction, we want it on this side. And if we click on it, we can say, let's just get rid of you. And say we want this to be called smelters. Okay, can be coloured red, seems fine. And then we can put that in the trains themselves, the locomotives to start off with, so rotate them. So the snowplow is downwards in this case. Okay, and then we want the wagons. Still seems like a weird term. 2, 3, 4. And then trains again. Rotate so the snowplow is facing up. And then we have a double-ended train, so it can reverse and go forwards on a single line. If you wanted it to go faster, to accelerate faster, you could put 2 locomotives on one end, or even 1 on one end. You don't have to have them double-ended like this. But if you do that, you're going to need the loop or some other way for it to turn around at the other end. In this case, we can just go with something simple, a single rail line with a double-ended train on it. So that's pretty good enough for us to place that down, and hopefully our factory now has enough rail. We're going to head, and we're going to head this direction, all the way up here, and probably turn in somewhere here. We're going to get these 2 piped down here, and either unload at this end and do something with them, or do it up there. Not quite sure yet, but we're going to need to combine them, certainly to get iron ore out. And one quick note, I do have file installed, or the fully automated rail layer, or fully automatic rail layer, I can remember which one it is. I'm not going to use it just yet, we can do it later, but that basically lets you drive a train forwards, and it will let you then place rail as you go. In this case, we're just going to use the usual way of laying rail, which is hover over this once you have some rail, click on this, and then you can just run. So we can just place rail like this. And of course, you can move your mouse if you want to change the orientation. We don't worry about it too much. We're just going to head straight upwards and then over towards where that new source of ore is. So here's probably your first look at Jivolite if you're following along. As you can see, it can be refined into various ores. However, right next to it, you can see a slightly lighter color Jivolite here, infinite Jivolite. This is pretty good, but the downside, it requires hydrofluoric acid per mining operation. So I think what I'm probably going to do to start off with is try and put normal miners down and use the regular kind up. And then we'll reset it up once we have the regular kind used up. Probably more optimally to try and get acid up here to get rid of it. Let's just see that we've got some sapphirite down here somewhere. Yep, near these X's. Let me just... sorry, it's dark. It's just that... we've not got any power up here yet. So we've got regular sapphirite and infinite sapphirite, and this needs sulfuric acid per mining operation. Okay, so we're going to need some more advanced stuff, and there's more there, you see. What different yields. But we're going to need to make acid to actually deal with those. And you see the end of our train track is here. We've also got some more gas wells, so that's going to be useful perhaps. I'm not going to need them straight away. But now I'm going to have to go back to the base. Now, if we had the file, of course, we could just drive up here and it would lay these rail tracks down. Even with this, it's not too bad. You can actually drive the train up here once you have another train stop. I just don't have enough rail to get to where I want the train stop yet. So, yeah, see you in a moment. And we can put our other train stop all the way up here. We're going to do the same thing as we did before. Put this down, and then we're going to say this is going to be the... Mine 1. No trains yet, but that's okay. Let's just see, do we have everything else we need? We need some power up here. I've made some of the larger power poles now that I've got enough trains and wagons to get going. There we go. Now do bear in mind, these trains aren't electric, or at least they aren't by default anyway, which means that we're going to need to fuel these things. And we don't have any coal easily available up here, I don't think. Do we have any in range? That's sapphirite or Jivolite? No, no coal. So we're going to probably have to fuel them up at the other end with something like carbon maybe. Yeah, something like that. So we've now got 2 spots here that you can see more easily in the daylight. One here and one here, so I can go and again set up our miners. In this case, we certainly need this one, and it doesn't much matter how we set them up to start with. So let's set them up going this way, I think. Yeah, so 1, 2, and then we're going to have 3, 4. Actually, let's just set it 6 on each side for a second. Let me just set this out. I'm going to do the same thing on the Jivolite over here as well. Again, it doesn't much matter how we set them out, because remember, we're going to end up with just infinite Jivolite eventually. We just need to put them somewhere where we can get some supplies. So let's just put on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully. I need to get rid of these trees. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any nano bots with me, so I can't automatically remove the trees. And of course, we don't have a network up here yet. So something along this sort of line will be cool. And the same thing on this side, and we're both going to head towards where the train's going to stop. And now that we have 2 train stops, we can configure the train itself. So if we click on the train, it's currently set to manual, so we can create schedules and fuel. It's got 94 coal at the moment, so no need to worry about that one just yet. We can change the colour of the train, not important for us right now. So we're going to set this up. So we can do add a station, we'll go to the mine 1, and then we're going to set the wait condition to be time passed, so 30 seconds. And then we're going to add another station and go to smelters, time passed, again, 30 seconds. Now you can do something a little bit different than that. You can do something like mine 1 and then wait till it's full. But in our case, what we want is that ore down here as soon as possible. So we're gonna be fine with just using 30 seconds past, and then we're gonna switch this to automatic, and off it goes. And if you're standing on the track when it leaves, well, let's just say your trip will be very, very short indeed. You do tend to die pretty much instantly. So that's going to all go off there, and it's going to be come back and forward every 30 seconds, which is, of course, what we want to happen at the moment. We will get Jivolite and Steratite from up there separately, so we're going to have to deal with it down here and combine the two. But that's okay. That's sort of expected. We didn't want to have to build up too large a base up there. So to do that, I guess I'm going to need to refill, and then we're going to have a look at sorters again. Unless I've got one in my inventory. Do I have a crusher or sorting facility? What recipes have you got? So let's just see. Is it the sorter? Or is it the crusher? Let me find out where that recipe is I'm looking for. Yeah, here it is. It's in the Ore Sorter Mark II. It does say in here that it's available in Ore Sorter Mark I. It's not. This doesn't seem to always work, or at least work any of the time from what I've seen. So make an Ore Sorter Mark II, and as soon as you've got the research, we can choose 4 iron ore. And to get that, we need 2 crushed saphirite, 2 crushed Jivolite. Both of those are going to be coming down. And then we're going to have to make mineral catalyst down here. So that should be fine. Let me set something up. So I'm not sure if I showed this on camera, but I increased the number of liquefiers, and that's a Mark II, but these are all Mark Is, just to get myself some more slag slurry. And over here, I then, on the other side of this, because this seems to do okay just with one of them, the filtration unit, 2 of them, I'd increase those as well. And over here, we've then got 4 instead of 2 crystallizers. But as you can see, we've still got an excess of mineral sludge. And that's what we're going to need to make mineral catalyst. We just need mineral sludge and not much else. So we can then just extend that with a pipe, I guess. Just take it off here and put it here maybe. And then we could put in some assembly units. If they're made, assembly machines. Not there because we need it one further away just in case we need to scale this. There we go. And then mineral. Hopefully there. Yep. Okay. Rotate you around. And we need some pipe, some kind. Not very much, just enough to connect it and give it some power. Let's use the medium electric pole, shall we? There we go. So that's producing mineral catalysts. Don't know how many of those I'm going to need yet. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We are going to need to get them all the way over there, so I could just move this factory over there and just pipe it over. Yeah, actually, probably will do that. So I'm just going to move this, do it off camera. Be right back. Okay, now you can see we've got a line of carbon coming in, and that's going to feed into the trains. Hopefully they will take carbon. Can't see why they wouldn't. Otherwise, we need to get coal. And I've set up these assembly machines. Oh, here comes the train. Yep. They're feeding carbon in just fine into the locomotives on both sides. And here we've got these. I don't think I need 4 because this hoovers up the mineral sludge like you wouldn't believe. A lot of that can be made very, very quickly. So, yeah, they're sort of stuck at the moment waiting for everything. So, all we're going to do now is complete the other end with belts. And we can sort of cheat with that. If I just hover over this and press the enter on my numpad, I can get in. And then we will ride the train all the way up. Which is, yeah, it's not too bad. It can go faster than this, but this is much, much faster than walking, as you can see on the mini-map at the top right. So very easy to get started and stop. There we go. So here's our 2 sort of belts coming in. We're going to have to bring those over to the train and load them. I would prefer stack inserters for this, but we don't have those. Oh, I think I may have them researched. Do I have enough to build them? No, I think they need to be built by machine. So I'm going to have to work on that one. But that's something that is fine for now. Have we got both of these now coming in? No gaps. Hopefully with a tree in the way. No, looks like it's coming through. Yes, it is. Okay, so now we need to load it on this side, which is not terribly hard. especially since we've got this new changed splitters with the most recent version of Factorio, 0.16. If you're playing this, this has that improved splitter behavior. So let's just think about how we want to load these. If we hover over here, you can see where you want to load them. So it's often worthwhile just putting down some of these inserters, just so you can get an idea of where the train stop is, just in case you lose it. But the idea is we probably want to load fairly evenly on each of the wagons or the cars. Let me just make sure we're sort of missing. Yeah, I've put these equally spaced out, and that's not quite the way you want them for power into the train, into the inserters. So let's just move that for a second and set these up more appropriately. So we probably want them like this instead. And we definitely want these medium power poles here because they need to reach across all of the inserters if we're going to use, if we're going to fill this entire thing up with inserters, like this. It'll help if you are able to cover everything with power, which we can do. These should be replaced with stack inserters once we got the idea for that. So to fill these up, what I think we're probably going to do, at least to start, is to have something along these lines. So if we have maybe something along this sort of line, and then we don't need, if we just put a couple of splitters on build, we don't need to do too much. There are, well, we could, if we had enough supply, we'd want to speed this up a great deal. There are ways of doing that, but I'm not going to show them just yet. And we can just feed into this way. Oh, that's such a shame. Never mind. Yep, that should do it for that one. It'll split it evenly, and then they'll come down here. Again, this isn't great because I don't have any boxes on me. What we want to move this to do eventually with this, in fact, should I do it now? Do I have enough ability to make enough boxes? 23. Yeah, it's coming backwards and forwards every 30 seconds. So let's just use wooden boxes, and let's just get rid of this for now. Just so we can set this up to be quite a bit faster. Here are our boxes. So we're going to have the boxes like this. And this will need to move. But it's okay. It's relatively easy. While the boxes are being made, we want the second set of inserters something like this. And like this. Oops. There we go. Final few. That'll do. So these are just a buffer that we can feed into straight away. And if we really wanted this setup to be faster, I guess we could actually do something with that now. It takes a bit of... well, at least this is an old setup, so I'm just wondering if the new setup is any better. So if we do like something like this, and we can feed into the center two like that, or even just put a splitter in there. We don't even need to put the extra belts. And then we can feed in like this. The reason why you do this sort of thing is just so these load evenly rather than loading with that first one always gets the first thing. And then we connect all these up with circuit networks, which I don't have yet, but this will get us started and should give us a little bit of that. Let's just get this one going as well. And I'll complete this build some other time. It's not essential that we get this perfect just yet. Just so that we have another couple of splitters. And then we can get some Jivolite on the go and getting brought down to the other end. Of course, it doesn't get unloaded yet, but the unloader will sort out as well. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera. Hopefully you can get the idea. This is going to load as fast as it can. Once these are upgraded to stack inserters, along both of, well, these can be fast inserters, these can be stack inserters. You're able to load trains really, really quickly, which is exactly what we want. So you can get upgraded. And then we can do the same thing, I guess, here. Or further down, in fact. We can just put it here, like this. Yeah. And then we want to split, I think. Might need to split a little bit earlier. And another split in here, just like this. Okay, so I'm just going to complete that. And one quick note, because some of these positions could be over both the infinite and the non-infinite, you may have to choose weird locations compared to a normal miner setup just so that they will mine correctly, because we don't want to be on or they don't want to be covered on the infinite area. Otherwise, what's going to happen is they're going to try, every so often, they're going to try and mine an infinite ore, and they can't. Because they don't have any of the required, you can see these technically can take in a pipe, but they don't have any of their any ability to actually get the ore. So that's okay for now. I'm just going to have to watch these positions and make sure they're in the right place, and hopefully we'll get enough ore out of that at some point. Will you place? Interesting. If I hover over, you can see roughly where we're going to get the right placing. So if it goes into one of these with the pipes, I probably don't want it there. I probably want to just work my way around until I find a place that has the regular kind, and then just deal with it for now. We'll have to come back here for acids and getting that working, but for now, we're just looking for placement that we can get these ores out. And we'll deal with, the sort of nightmare of cabling that we have to do to get them all powered up and running. All right, so back down to the other end for the processing side. Okay, so on the unloading side, we've got something very, very similar. We've got the boxes as usual. They're starting to stack up with our ores. It's not crushed yet. But we've got two Mark II ore crushers here with a usual assembly machine in the middle to make stone. And that's being fed over to the other side of the train line where we'll, I don't know, probably put it in a warehouse or some other, feed it back to our furnaces somewhere. That's okay for now. Keep an eye on the minimap when you're crossing the lines. You don't want to get run over by a train. Yes, so we got these two coming in, and then we just need to feed those out to the rest of this. So let's just make two more fast inserters. And let's in here choose the recipe we want, which is iron ore. Okay, and then we just need to feed from these, and we should be able to direct insert. In fact, we can crossed over, so we don't need to actually do anything particularly special with that. Just to move this piece of rock. We don't need to do any of the extended inserter stuff. We can just put it there, maybe. And then we should just feed in both sides. We need another power pole, but that should be a problem. So let's say iron ore again. And then we need to feed in just this. Yeah, just one inserter should do us. Do I have one left? Yeah, I think I do somewhere. It's just being made up. Let's put that power pole in place. There we go. One more inserter. Okay, so that's being fed in. All we need to do now is essentially start this feed. Oh, these need to be rotated, that's why. That's not quite right. There we go, that's better. Let's rotate. There we go, and the same thing here. Alright, so crushed Jivolite, crushed Steratite. This should produce just iron ore, nothing but iron ore. Great, and about lots of it by the looks of things. Let's just get rid of your view. And do we have enough for probably a couple more? The horrible inserters. I'm running out of resources, but we've got iron ore, and it's right next to where our smelter is. So this steel is backing up, which is okay, because I think I'm going to now re-enable the iron ore. Because we're about to reverse this. We're going to get the steel grabbing that first, I think. Or even dedicating, one line. I'll figure that in a second. I just need to turn this back on just by clicking on it and choosing right. So it'll emphasize iron ore before it takes it takes it up to the steel. It says iron plates even before it takes it to the steel. So now we just need an inserter or two. Another power pole. And we'll upgrade those to fast inserters maybe. Depends how fast this actually is at running. And head down here to our smelters. And I think I'm going to bring it all the way down here to where our iron input line is, just so that everything is kept pretty much the same as it was. Let's put the splitter in place. And then we'll just have them feeding in here. So we'll have a line come across. And that should be okay for a splitter. We'll put it right here. I've already started the iron up. As you can see, that's already producing. And the last of the iron ore for the steel is going up there. Let's see how well this does now. So, I don't want iron ore. Why is it trying to insert iron ore? Let me just make sure that's definitely separated. There we go. And then let's just pop back up here and we should be able to start everything up. I think we just needed some power poles to start it, didn't we? Cut straight through these rocks. Not sure what I think about these new rocks in 0.16. Sort of in the way, but I guess that's the intention. Let's put you there. That's a little bit slow, to be honest. Let's actually also just create one more. Are these taking this off fast enough? Yeah, it looks like they are for the amount of material that's coming in here. What I'm going to have to do now is take a look at these and just see whether these increase over time or decrease over time and sort of match it to how many of these machines I can do. Obviously, it's very easy to scale this. I just move this out and then add more crushing machines. We can obviously have... Whoa, nearly walked over the track. Don't walk over the track. Okay, I can put a warehouse in. I just need some iron plate, I think, from somewhere. And the bots will bring that to me. Yeah, just take 100 iron plates. I can make a warehouse for the stone. I don't need to worry too much about it for now. And do we have enough iron plate on this belt? Probably do. Let's just chase it along and see if we can get enough belt while I talk about this. So we've got this episode. We've got the more advanced version of iron ore, which gets us quite a bit more going. And hopefully enough to keep both iron and steel belts running with, you know, two iron plants and one steel plant. But that is like a full steel plant. So it's got 2 sets of blast furnaces going. And then that will help us build more bots and, of course, more roboports. Right now, it's just really running out of one thing or the other. So we've got that up and running this episode. Hope you liked it. Feel free to give it a thumbs up. And let me know if you've got any comments, in particular, any improved ways of doing this. Obviously, we can scale it, not too hard. We'll move across to a bot-based system fairly soon. All that we really need for a bot-based system, if you really wanted to do it, you know, soon, is you can just replace all these boxes with passive providers, the red ones. And you can move this wherever you like then, ideally close, and just have this as its own network or something along those lines. You don't connect the orange areas with everything else. And then we can just set requesters, like for example, right here, for instance, instead of this belt. Yes, it just gets rid of all of this sort of belt and inserters, and the bots just move backwards and forwards, and you put rubber ports and later on speed upgrades and beacons and all that lovely stuff that we don't have access to yet. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. And as always, it's been me, Grey Duster. Enjoy your day.